author of the book Can't Hurt Me, which is available for pre-order out in December. Congratulations on having a book.
Thank you. It's a fucked up process, very hard, but I'm glad it's done with. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, the
Really?
best part of making a book is when it's done.
Yes.
I figured you enjoyed fucked up processes because you're always like, you seem like a guy that enjoys the pain.
I do, and this was a lot of pain, man. I had to go back through and get from the surface of my life and get down deep to the sewer where the rats hang out. So that was the hard part of it.
People that read books love the sewer.
Yes, well they have.
So
the
you
sewer
got to
here.
give them the sewer.
They got it. They
Right.
got it.
What's some of the things in the sewer? Because you had like a troubled little childhood there. Was that?
Yeah.
Because something definitely was a fire. Because when you decided to kick some ass, you did it royally.
Definitely. So my dad was the kind of guy that beat the shit out of you, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was one of those violent type of guys who was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And daily beatings for no reason at all. He's just drunk, and whatever demons he had, he made sure to unleash them on you and my brother and my mom. So I came up that way until I was about 8 years old. And at 8 years old, we moved to a small town in Brazil, Indiana. Having a fucked up foundation like I did in Buffalo, going to Brazil wasn't a good time, man. So Brazil has about 5 black families. The Klan marched in the 4th of July parade in 1995.
Wait, in Brazil there's a Klan?
Brazil, Indiana.
Brazil, Indiana.
Indiana.
Oh, I'm like,
That's
what
right.
the fuck?
Yeah, not the other
You
Brazil.
just said Brazil was. I'm like, sorry, I didn't know there was another Brazil that was tough.
Yeah. Brazil, Indiana. So
Okay.
about maybe 8 to 10,000 people there. Not many black people, and that also did some damage on me.
Right. Yeah, it's when you don't see it, or you only see it in a movie, then you don't believe it until
Right.
it's actually right up in your face, and then you're like, wow, there's people out there that do that.
Right. So
So-
we have pictures in the book of cross burnings about 15 miles from my house, 1995 November, just to give people some proof of how fucked up shit was out there. And I also had a severe learning disability. I don't know if I really did or not. They diagnosed me with one. They said
Oh,
I
okay.
had one. I think it was toxic stress, man. Period. Dot. Coming
Yeah.
up, seeing what I saw, as a young kid, my mind didn't, the foundation, how the structure of the brain, things in it, kind of come together quite right. It was used to turmoil and torture, versus being that little kid playing ball and shit.
Yeah. So then you kind of got a little bit fat when you became adult.
Yeah, so I went from about 175, and when I got out of the Air Force at about 23, 24.
Okay, so you were in the Air Force.
Right, so
That's
I was
interesting, right?
yeah.
Because it's not as if things went to shit and then you dug your way out of it. You were a productive, healthy person, and then things went to shit, and then you became an even more healthy, productive person.
Well, things went to shit when I was born.
Yeah.
And then I tried to get out of the shit and go in the Air Force, and then that went to shit. So in that process of that 4 years of me trying to be some Air Force special operations guy, I went from 175 pounds to 297 pounds in about 3.5 years. And I came out and having very limited education. I started spraying for cockroaches at a company called Ecolab. And that's when I came home one night weighing almost 300 pounds and said, man, I got to change my fucking life. And the show came on, watching guys going through BUDS training, Navy SEAL training, and I felt like nothing. I felt like the lowest thing on earth. In my past, all that shit that happened to me from my childhood, being called this, my dad saying this, beating the shit out of me. That's all I was. I was exactly what they said I was going to be. And I realized no one was coming to save me. No one was coming to save me. A lot of people helped me get where I'm at, which was fucked up, but no one was coming to save me. So I had to save myself, and that's where it started. I lost 106 pounds in less than 3 months.
That sounds unhealthy.
It's fucking very unhealthy. But so was my whole life up to then. So I had to do the same. So whenever my life.
Wait,
got
how'd you
me-
lose the weight? Wait, when you lost that drastic amount of weight, you didn't do it from like not eating, right?
Well, I ate very little because you can't eat too much to lose that weight that fast.
Yeah. And what?
I-
And you just immediately started running?
No, not immediately because I was so fat.
Oh, you couldn't run, to just
So-
walking.
Literally, my first run was a quarter mile.
Okay.
And I had the idea, I'm gonna run fucking 4 miles.
Yeah.
So I put my shit on, I started running, and I ran a quarter mile, walked back home. Sat on the couch and said, man, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And over a period of time, man, just kind of chipping away at myself.
Just keep running every day.
Just chipping away. And so I couldn't run that much, so I biked a lot.
Okay.
And I swam
There'll be
a
less
lot.
impact too when you're bigger.
That's right. And then I lost about 40 pounds.
Okay.
I was able to start running.
Okay.
So it was a process, but the process went, I literally had to earn everything.
You training angry back then?
You know what? I wasn't so much training angry. I was training scared. I realized.
Scared of what?
Scared of not being anything.
Oh, okay.
Scared of not being anything. Scared of being a 300-pound guy that sprayed for cockroaches his whole life.
Once you realized that was the shoes you were walking around in that scared the shit out, and you weren't prepared to walk around in them any longer.
No, I didn't want to walk around him any longer.
Good for you.
Yeah, it was a fucked up feeling looking in that mirror and not being able to lie to yourself anymore.
You realize most people don't get that wake up call. You know what I mean? Because I feel like you just sound like every other person until. Yeah,
right.
Look, I'm not saying that when people do crazy shit in your childhood, when you have to. I'm not a black man. I haven't had people fucking burn crosses in my backyard.
Right.
I can't even act like I would know what that's like. But I've had some shit happen to me and my kid when I was a kid, and I can understand how you would want to. You know what I mean? Like I got to prove something, but when you just. That ain't so bad to be a 300-pound guy who spray. It's like that's not the end of your life, but for you,
it was a lot more.
Right. Something else was.
It's a lot more than being black. It's a lot more than crosses. A lot more than being 300 pounds. A lot more than having learned disability. A lot more than my dad kicking my ass. It was all that shit kind of compounded into one about pile of fuck.
But right that day, from then on, you did not fuck up and go one step backwards one time, or did you?
No, pretty much from that point forward in the Air Force, when I thought I figured it out. I went back, obviously, which was when I was 300 pounds.
All right.
But from that point forward, I ended up going through 3 Navy SEAL Hell Weeks in 1 year, which was never done before.
And when you do that, because I saw that, are you trying to, what's your point of, like, you trying to desecrate everybody else in the armed forces? Like, what's your deal there? Because you didn't have to do that. That doesn't...
Well, I had to do that, but...
Did you just sense that you could do that and nobody else... It was that easy for you to do the other one?
I had to go through the 3 Hell Weeks. Because basically, out of the 70-plus years, I was only the 36th black guy to make it through Navy SEAL training. But
what?
Yeah, there's only like 75 or 78 right now since like the 40s or it's my fault 60s, whatever the fuck it was. So anyway, that's not it. The whole point right here is that I had to go through 3 Hell Weeks for one reason. There was like 2 years where they made you start from day one. Like there's an old crusty CO. And no matter where you were at in training, he made you start from day one. And then that's how the whole thing fucking happened. And so I would get, so we started on Sunday, we started on Sunday, and on Friday.
Yeah.
I get to Wednesday, I get fucking injured. I get rolled back to day one of training. Went through that full second Hell Week, was getting ready to go to second phase, broke my kneecap, got rolled back to day one. Nowadays, if you get hurt after Hell Week, you go on. You stop there. When the next class catches up with you, you then link up with that class and go on. You don't start back from day one. So it was just chances that I had to harden up.
Wait, you broke your kneecap?
Yeah.
When you restart, you didn't restart the next day.
No.
Like how much longer? You got to let it heal, right?
I was out from May until January the next year.
So the only reason you did it 3 times is because you kept falling over and hurting yourself.
Nope, I completed 2 of them.
So you did one really hard and was like, fuck it, I'm going to do 2 more.
Well, it became that.
All right.
It became that.
Because you kind of done the course almost 3 times the first time, and you were like, I think I got this. Did you figure out a way to handle this a little better, you think, than the average one?
You start figuring out how to take fuckers' souls.
Right.
You start using their fucking shit, their old demons. You start taking them. You start knowing everybody has demons, man. And I start using their energy for my own.
Other people on the course.
The instructors.
What do you mean? The instructors' demons.
So basically, the instructors would sit there.
Yeah.
And there was 3 shifts.
Yeah.
3 8-hour shifts.
Yeah.
And we were up the whole time. As a student, you're just getting your ass kicked for 130 hours.
Yeah.
Theyese guys would come in. They'd already been through it.
Oh, okay.
So they're coming in. Their job is to beat the shit out of you. Go home. Come back.
Right.
So I realized as an alpha male, what happens as an alpha male is that we're always judging each other. Yeah. Who's the biggest bass motherfucker around? All this dick swinging shit, whatever.
It's the worst shit ever.
Who gives a fuck? But I realized that. As an insecure guy, I realized, man, these alpha males, man, these motherfuckers, they always trying to push themselves. So I realized all Navy SEALs are alpha males. How you heard of alpha males? They're always judging themselves. All right, this guy here seems like a badass. Let me see how bad he is. So I realized these guys have all been through Navy SEAL training, and on Wednesday's one of the worst days because it's like, you're fucking tired, you're beat down, you have 2 more days left, and the instructors really start to judge you and look at you. And they start to look at you and say, okay, how hurt is this guy compared to how I was when I went through?
Okay.
So I was realizing this. So then I said, okay, you know what? They're happy right now because we're beat the fuck down, and they caused this.
Yeah.
They caused us to be fucked up. But if I can find a little bit of strength to not look beat down, not be fucked up, I want to take their fucking soul, because you realize nothing you do can hurt me. Hence the title of the book, Can't Hurt Me. So I then took their little bit, looked at them on the beach with the fucking nice parkas on and drinking their coffee and smiling as everybody walking around chafed and bleeding and fucked up, swollen like a Pillsbury Doughboy.
Yeah.
I said, all right, motherfuckers, I'm going to do something fucking good here. I got my boat crew. We had a big boat over our heads. And they said, pick it up. Everybody's struggling to pick this boat up. I had my boat crew pick it up and throw it up in the air. Just start fucking tossing it up in the air.
Yeah.
The instructors had a look on their face like, how the fuck are these guys doing this?
Yeah.
So by that look on their face, it gave my whole boat crew more energy.
Yeah.
And I owned real estate in their fucking heads. So when they went home that night to fuck their wives, I bet it didn't happen.
Man, you guys are aggressive with the wife fucking sometimes, but I respect that. But so what about when everybody else is lifting that thing up? Like, you're understanding your concept of why that got you motivated, but what about if I'm in your group and you're like, hey man, fucking get this thing up here, it's gonna piss off that. I'd be like, what if I'm too dumb to understand that concept? And I'm just like, dude, I don't want to lift it up anymore. I'm sore, it's Wednesday.
It's contagious.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's contagious.
Okay. All right.
So when you got one guy
Yeah.
who's that fucking fired up, it's contagious.
Right.
So you have this theory, and I'm guessing this is around the time you started cultivating this theory that people just don't live up to their full potential.
Right. I call it the 40% rule.
Okay, and what made you conceive of that?
The 40% rule started happening around this time frame after my third Hell Week. I started realizing that I was leaving a lot on the table, and that we are all, no matter how badass you are, no matter how great you are, we're all underachieving. And if you have that kind of mindset, even the greatest, if you were to interview right now Roger Federer, greatest tennis player ever, not even arguably, ever, I guarantee you if you interview him years from now, when he's all retired and all rusted up and crusted up, and he said, oh my God, you were so amazing, this and that, he's going to look at you with the look of him thinking about how fucked up, man, I lost that match, I lost this match. He's still going back through all the times he could have been better. That's what keeps you great. And in finding that 40%, your mentality has to believe that you just started to scrape the surface of your true capabilities. And that's what I started realizing. In that third Hell Week, I had stress fractures, shin splints, and all this other shit. Had to tape my body up to go out there and endure the hardest training on the man. And I did it being broken. And I started realizing, my God, man, I'm not even healthy. I am broke down, the worst I've ever been in my life, pretty much. And I was able to go through it by finding more, by realizing that the brain has a governor. Just like a car has a governor. You put a governor in a car, the car can go 130. The governor set at 91. The car may say 130, but that governor's on there. Our brains are the same way. Our brains have a governor on it, so when you start feeling pain, discomfort, doubt, all that shit, it shuts down. You have to learn how to push a little bit beyond that, and over a process of time, you start getting more of that 40%, 60%, 70%, 80%.
Do you believe you're at 100%?
I think 100% is death. I think you're at 99.9%. So I've figured out ways to get damn near it, for sure.
Yeah, well, I reckon I can't run as far as you can, but I reckon I'm using way more than 40%. I'm fucking sore.
Good. So what have you done to be sore?
I mean, just permanently. I've got all these injuries from my skateboarding and my fighting life and stuff. And I'm kind of too old to do any of the stuff that I do, and I'm still doing it because I don't know what else to do.
Roger that.
I'd be like, if I didn't do that, then I'm a very poor reader and stuff. So there's really no other option for me than to jump up and down and smash my shit off things.
I was a poor reader for a long time myself. I had third grade reading level my junior year in high school.
You're saying you got better at reading from what'd you do? Train that as well?
What I did was I realized how dumb I was because I cheated all through school.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm dumb.
I'm too dumb to cheat, so that's how dumb I am. You even cheat. I thought about that, but I was like, I can't pull it off. So.
Well, trying to get in the military, you have to pass this ASVAB test. So I couldn't cheat on that because everybody has a different test.
Okay.
So we lived in a $7 a month place growing up for the majority of my life. So we lived in this government subsidized apartment. So we have money for a tutor. So my mom scrounged up enough money for me to see a tutor 1 hour a week.
Yeah.
And she realized, man, you can't retain shit. So what I did was I basically would go buy spiral notebooks, and I had to I didn't learn shit. I just memorized it.
Yeah.
So I wrote down each page of each damn textbook, and I had to recall. Okay, page 71 is where I saw that in my mind. Don't know what the fuck it is, but I remember seeing that on page 71 in my mind, and that's the answer to the question.
So you self-taught yourself, you were like fat and stupid.
Repetition.
And you just kept it right. And look, that's the same with box. That's the rule in boxing.
Repetition, man. Repetition is everything. Fat, stupid, dumb, whatever you want to call it, man. But guess what now? Merry Christmas.
You're right. You are right. It is. Look, I've you don't know much, but about my life. But I was a professional skateboarder, and I've told these guys a million times I was the most untalented one out of everybody, and I just kept going every day. And then just one day, everything just came together, and I know why what came together. It's because I just did it all day, non-stop, and it was like no matter how dumb my body was, it was like, oh, wait a minute, I think you're trying to get me to remember something.
Exactly.
All right, I'll finally come along with it, and that's it. And it was like a miracle. It was like, if I wasn't a guy that doesn't believe in miracles, I would say that was a fucking miracle.
That's right, and having that Geronimo mindset that you have, fuck it, I'm gonna come out every day and beat myself up. You got a reward for it, and the reward you got was being a good skateboarder.
Right. Yeah, it was well worth it too. I'll never forget that. That was probably the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. Flying around on a skateboard.
The human mind is constructed the way that it is. Why do we have so many self-defeating impulses?
It's very easy. The human mind, the mind has to take in so much information. It is tired. It has to process so much shit that it's like, okay, whatever it can dump, it's gonna dump. So pain and suffering. How to process pain and suffering, how to get through pain and suffering, that's a lot of data. So it wants to dump it. Because you can't just say, I'm going to multitask pain and suffering. You have to single point focus how to get through these fucking things. So it just dumps it. It says, I can't deal with it. Let's quit. Let's move on to something else. And that's where the brain starts to trick you and say, okay, you know what, I'm done. I don't need to be here anymore. Because the brain has so much data. So you got to learn to kind of calm your brain down, because it's starting to panic now. It's in panic mode. Once you start suffering, the brain's like, okay, get the fuck out, let's low. Fight or flight. That's flight.
That happened to me this morning. I got blood work, and the fucking lady jabbed me in the nerve in my elbow.
Yep.
And I went, whoa, and I was like, whoa, I'm going to pass out. And I'm like, if you fucking pass out right now before work, that is going to fuck everything so hard. And I'm like, go... breathe. And she's like, you okay? And I'm like, yes. But I went into, I'm not listening to her anymore. I'm like, you're not gonna faint. There's a needle hanging out of your arm. Do not go down. And I think maybe, because I think the nerve, a little bit of pain, but I think I panicked for a second. Yeah. I think I was like, fuck, I'm gonna go.
That's the first place to